there's millions, an estimated millions in Zimbabwe, Zimbabweans in South Africa, and we had a voice too. We wanted to say enough is enough. Our country deserves so much more than what the leadership was doing.
This is Nobukosi Zulu. She migrated from Zimbabwe to South Africa in 2009 to get a college education.
Yeah, we then marched to the embassy. I think at that time that was the biggest demonstration by the diaspora, the open demonstration, I think, in terms of numbers.
This is Tino Vimbanashi Gwanyaya. He illegally migrated with his family from Zimbabwe to South Africa in 2009 as well.
So it was, you can say it was for, greener pastures. The same reason so many millions of Zimbabweans have left the country.
Zimbabwe is a nation that is landlocked by 4 other countries, one of those being South Africa. Zimbabweans are the largest group of foreigners in the country, but why this move to South Africa? The British recognized Zimbabwe as independent since 1980, marking the start of Robert Mugabe's 37-year rule. In 1987, Mugabe modifies the constitution, changing his title from Prime Minister to Executive President. During his time as president, there are 4 major factors that push Zimbabweans to migration: violent farm seizures, food shortages, hyperinflation, and violence toward MDC supporters, the political opposition party.
The 90s, Zimbabwe's economy is failing and a lot more people are turning to migration. And post-2000 with the MDC, people have written about it as floodgates were opened from Zimbabwe and you had a deluge of Zimbabweans coming to South Africa.
All of us were illegal immigrants at the time we migrated. So it was quite a move. We didn't know what we were going to face. It was quite an experience.
A lot of Zimbabwean parents that sold cars, sold property just to get their kids through college, which was difficult. But this is like a very small handful of Zimbabweans who did manage to come to college outside the country.
That when it comes to matters of protecting our revolution, the military will not hesitate to step in.
On November 15, 2017, there's a military takeover of the Zimbabwean government. By the end of November, thousands of Zimbabweans marched in solidarity with the military's actions, even young Zimbabweans in South Africa.
It was exciting being with young people. Tino, who was pretty instrumental in this, and he had this fire and drive, and he's just super cool guy. And it was nice seeing him, like a young generation of Zimbabweans who have aspirations beyond themselves.
When it comes to solidarity, when it comes to transcending borders, when it comes to bridging the divide, even the ethnic divides that currently plague the continent, you find that young people are better at doing that.
Our generation, we get the privilege of living beyond survival. We are now concerned about what is actually happening. We want to change the government. We are willing to fight and be arrested and be taken in. I mean, I'm a human rights lawyer. It would be really cool if I got arrested. It looks good on my street cred.
Fellow Zimbabweans, I address you tonight on the back of a meeting.
On November 21st, Robert Mugabe officially resigned.
Dawn of a new era, and there's a lot of people who are talking about that, who are talking in those terms, even going as far as to say this is almost like a second liberation.
Now with Mugabe gone, I think he was just an individual, but he did represent so much more. And so his moving from power changed people, and people feel a little more courageous.
The next few years are going to be very critical in terms of how Zimbabwe's future is. And a lot of people still believe that it can, retain itself to that former glory. But I still think there's still a lot of things that needs to happen.
So what does this mean for young Zimbabweans who started new lives in South Africa almost 10 years ago?
I actually intended and hoped to be able to work in Zimbabwe, that was the plan. You know, there was that euphoria. Oh my gosh, New Zimbabwe. I got there, and salaries are it's just not livable. You know, and I like things, so I just couldn't do it. And also, there's just not a lot of jobs.
I think for most Zimbabweans, they want to go back home, you know, to work, to be able to be back with their families, and you know, work in their home country and, you know, contribute to its development. So there's still a yearning among Zimbabweans that, you know, they want to, you know, to return home.